very good metaphor, only a few will. So, but that's nature's way.
Exactly, and that almost implies as well that then there might be, conquering, so to speak, going on out there as well. If we're kind of a microcosm version of what is going on in the universe,
there might well be.
Interesting.
And I think it's just very naive to assume that if we do encounter ET, even if ET is vastly more advanced than we are, that ET is going to be a nice, friendly, cuddly ET.
Well, that's one of the comments that Stephen Hawking made recently, kind of almost as a warning, actually, going out and like cautioning people to try to contact or talk to ET because they potentially might have other motives in their heart, so to speak.
Well, if you look at Richard Dawkins again writes this. He says that if any principle is likely to be is likely to prevail throughout the cosmos, assuming that there are living biological beings elsewhere, it's the principle of natural selection, survival of the fittest, and that's not necessarily a principle. That can cut both ways. But it's not necessarily a principle that's tailor-made to design into advanced forms of intelligence benign motives.
Exactly. So, I mean, all this discussion of ET coming through from, if you will, from the mainstream recently is that's interesting to me. And how do the mainstream kind of view some of your ideas?
Yeah, it is interesting. And my work it's been gotten very, I would call it mixed reviews. My work has received praise from some of the top cosmologists, physicists, and mathematicians in the world, including UK Astronomer Royal Martin Rees, Paul Davies, Seth Shostak. I was recently selected to give the Billingham Cutting Edge Lecture, which is essentially the keynote speech at the SETI segment of the International Astronautical Congress in Korea, which is I believe the fourth person. That's an annual keynote speech. And so within the SETI community, I have a lot of folks who think I'm onto something interesting. Others have commented that my ideas are impermissibly speculative, and a few have hurled what scientists view as the ultimate epithet, that my theory constitutes metaphysics instead of genuine science, and I, of course, beg to differ.
So what do you think will happen in terms of the future? I mean, much has been happening, in terms of quantum physics and other kind of, weird science subjects that keeps on popping up, and it seems the more we investigate, so to speak, the stranger and stranger the universe becomes to us in one way, right?
That's a really good observation, and I think that what Paul Davies calls the mystery of a life-friendly universe is the biggest of the big questions. It is, in the words of Brian Greene, the deepest question in all of science. So I think that there's going to be increased interest in exploring possible explanations for that mystery. My Korea lecture, for instance, was entitled "How Cosmological Models Should Guide SETI Search Strategies." So I think we're going to see a willingness to essentially look outside the box, particularly this defeatist approach that the Stanford School of String Theorists have taken to basically saying that, well, the only explanation for the fact that we inhabit this oddly biofriendly cosmos out of all the 10 to the 500th power, that's a Googleplex of possible universes that string theory allows. The only explanation for it is that we happen to be here as intelligent observers, and therefore it must of necessity be biofriendly. That's not an explanation at all.
Jim, after the break here that we're going to take in a few minutes, I want to examine some of your ideas in more detail. There's so many more subjects that we want to cover and talk about, but what we can say again here then obviously is that You are the author of Biocosm. That's the first book, and then also The Intelligent Universe, AI, ET, and the Emerging Mind of the Cosmos. And why don't you tell our listeners, if they're interested in picking up copies of one or two of your books, where they go to do that?
Yes, the easiest way to get them, and The Intelligent Universe is the one that's most readily available now, is to Amazon.com or on my own website, www.intelligentuniverse.org, and there's a link to Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and you can order them over the internet. That's the easiest way to get particularly The Intelligent Universe.
All right, we'll continue here with more Jim Gardner after the break, but we'll have this link up on redicecreations.com as well, so you can click through from our site easily and find more of Jim's work there. Stay with us, Jim.
Love me 2 times, baby. Love me twice today. Love me